of it. They want to help. Everybody likes that warm and fuzzy feeling that they did something.
And it's good press.
It's great press.
Especially for McDonald's. I mean, that clown has killed more people than it. Well, technically, Pennywise, but
I just and your McDonald's story that's often that's spoke of more than you speak of it, because that's always the example of what you can get, and people do want to help. People do want things to be better than they are, and it's those unsung people. That's why I started a show. People like you, people like the manager of McDonald's, that decided to help instead of just saying, no, I can't do that.
Yeah.
That don't get the credit. I feel that many times the people that get the credit aren't the ones that deserve it. And not that they sort it out, but sometimes it gets thrust on the wrong people, because Americans want to have heroes, and everything has to have a hero, and it has to have a villain,
And then you have those of us that will go out of our way to hide from the news camera because I don't want the credit. That's not what I'm there for.
Right.
That's not what you're there for. I mean, as a chief, it's part of your responsibility to deal with that camera, but that's not why you're there. That's not why you do this.
My standing rule was always that I had no problem until the wrong people got credit.
Yeah.
That's when I had
And that's frustrating.
And I have no problem if nobody gets credit.
Well, but then you get the absolute wrong people, the psychics,
Right. I don't care if give the credit to God. I don't care. But don't give it to the wrong person.
Right.
And that's not even the annoyance of when they just lump it in and say that the police or the fire department found the person, because that's just a lazy reporter,
right,
who didn't do the research. That's not even it. It's when the wrong agency by name gets the credit.
Well, and if it's a police or fire department that contributed to it, okay,
yes.
Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody gets it wrong once in a while.
Absolutely.
It's when the people that are preying on this industry are getting the credit.
Right.
The psychics, the search teams that charge for their services.
Right. The bounty hunters.
The bounty hunters. Right. That kind of thing. A dog handler that, for $49.95 an hour, I'll come out and I'll search for your loved one.
Right.
Okay.
And what bothers me
how about a milk bone?
What bothers me is that the person from ABC, SAR, or something that gets the credit and didn't deserve it doesn't correct it.
And they never will.
And they never will.
It's not in their monetary interest to correct that statement.
Right. And I just don't, your time comes. I think it took 15 years before people got our name right, and we started to get any credit. And it was nice because the members don't get financial reimbursement. They have to take what they can get. Far as
the attaboys, the pats on the back.
They want attaboys every now and then, and they sure don't want to see them going to other people. That are incorrect.
At very least, the attaboys keep morale up enough that you can keep a functioning team.
Right.
If you never get the attaboys, people aren't gonna. I mean, or even worse yet, if you never get any fines, say you're training wrong or fielding people wrong or something like that. If you never have any good outcomes, you're not going to last long because the morale's going to be down and people are going to jump ship and, take up a hobby that can actually do something for them.
That's what I don't understand is I don't understand people that have consistent track records of no fines. There's a team locally that said that I think they were talking about the number of searches they had. It was an outrageous number. It was a number that you don't really have in search registry, like 67. But they had no fines. And then what's the point? I understand you're not going to get fined, but if you're that high and you're not getting anything, what's the point?
Statistically, you're going to accidentally have a fine at that point.
Because I think we have to, I think that we have to be able to say, what I use as a metric is the situation better because we're here? And that doesn't always mean a 5. That doesn't always mean a live fine. We know that. It's sometimes it's closure. It's sometimes saving the family from getting ripped off, taken advantage of, or whatever. But is it better? And if it's the same, that's kind of okay. But yeah, why not stay home, save the gas? If it's worse, why'd you come?
Right. If it's worse, why were you invited, realistically?
Yeah, right. And you won't be invited back. And
I mean, if it's the same, it could be a lateral. You were taking over for a prior command team or something like that. So that's not a overly good metric. I could see that you don't always want that outcome.
Right.
But yeah, if the bad outweighs the good, you need to kind of
Well, if you're taking over somebody and it wasn't done right, the best you can hope for at the your baseline should be not making it worse.
Right.
You know, helping to right the ship. We're not going to win a race here, but we're going to help to right the ship.
Or at least it doesn't sink any further.
Right.
You know.
And we, you know, and then there's that resentment that sometimes people have when you are successful, which always bewilders me. That your colleagues.
That's nothing but a pride thing.
Yeah.
I mean, especially if it's Team XYZ was doing search management position for 12 hours, and then you and I come in and we do it the next 12 hours, and it was 180 degrees from where they were, and it was successful. Sure, they're going to be resentful of that because we just made them look like they shouldn't have been there in the first place, which is potentially the case. Nobody wants to look bad, even if they're doing it wrong.
But that's why we have to work together and get along.
Exactly.
It should be a joint effort. I mean, when I do multi-group things, I literally, based on the skill set, I take the names, put them on 3x5 cards, and put a representation from each vocation, each organization in a bag, and pull them out and make my task that way. And they're mixed up. Now, sometimes I don't do that. Sometimes I go you, and you, because I know you and I need you to specifically do this. But I try and mix it up as much as possible because that way everybody has a buy-in.
Well, and also, again, in this day and age, you know, one day you're going to get 35 people fielded. The next day you might get 3. So you need to, I mean, you guys are larger, so 3 is probably very pessimistic.
Yeah.
But if you have 3 teams working together all the time, you need to know that all of those people on all 3 teams can work together because you don't know who you're drawing from at any given moment.
Right.
So you need to train for the worst case scenario. That's how you get good outcomes. And again, that's what you've always done because you get that.
Well,
but
and you got to have
too many people don't get that.
No, so many people just want to find people.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to find people.
Well, it's mindless. You just go out in a field, you walk in circles till you find what you're looking for, right?
And see, my thing has never been about my rush, if you will, has never been finding people. My rush has been solving the puzzle.
Yeah.
And that doesn't always involve finding people because sometimes they're not missing. And so it's solving the puzzle.
Sometimes they don't want to be found.
Sometimes they want,
and that's a whole different equation.
We've had that happen, and they don't want to be found, and you have to honor that.
We do. The police don't necessarily, depending on why you're looking in the first place.
Right. And we have there's a new trend. I mean, when we both started, I think we wanted to find Timmy who walked away from a campsite, and it just deteriorated from there, because I always say Timmy's got juvenile diabetes and lives in his parents' basement, does not go out at all anymore because of the internet. So it's a new thing. And now substance abuse, mental health issues have compounded the problem, made it more difficult. But more and more people, the trend this year has been the people are in jail.
Yeah.
That are missing. And they're hiding because they have some debt from consumption of material, buying and selling material on time, or something that makes them want to hide.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's the world's changing, and if we don't keep up with the trends, at least mentally keep up with the trends, if you're doing it the way it was done 20 years ago, you're not going to have overly good results. Sure, the mechanics are basically the same.
Yeah.
And you and I had talked about this, on the phone with coming back into it after the period I've been gone. It's a different mindset today.
Right.
It's the same equations. It's the same physical stuff. You just have to think about it totally different.
The skill's the same. The craft is the same. Your skills are still as valuable as they ever were. but the world has changed.
Yep. And how to implement those skills to fit the world
has changed.
You're right.
And that's the big thing. And everything happens faster and is more public.
Yep. Well, everything, yeah. Well, and again, like I said to you on the phone when we talked before, I always tell people, fire service, family, whatever you're planning to do right now, assume that you're going to be seen on, I think the latest or the most recent statistic that I've heard is you're seen on like 35 cameras a day.
Yeah.
So go into your day thinking whatever you're going to do is going to be seen on 35 different cameras belonging to different people, corporations, spy satellites, whatever. If you're still willing to do it because it's okay to do on camera, have at it. You're probably in good shape. Yeah. If it's something you don't want seen on camera, you might not want to go there.
Yeah, when someone goes missing or there's a crime,
it's never seen on camera.
It's never seen on camera. Or we get some blurry ghost footage, and it's like you think it may be them. I always, I've only, in the course of doing things, I've had 2 or 3 times when I've had crystal clear footage. Just crystal clear footage of somebody. And the one time that really stands out was we were looking for a person, and during the course of it, there were surveillance cameras. 200 years ago, junkyards had good security cameras on them. They always have good security cameras on them. Junkyards always have good security cameras.
But banks, there's better pictures of Bigfoot than there are coming out of a bank, right?
And we're looking at this thing, and we're looking for one person. And I said, let's check the cameras. So we go in, and there's a woman who works there who's very good at her job. And she knows everything, and she's watching the cameras, and she gets it. And we're looking for a person. And in the video, a pickup truck comes down the river, and goes off into the river and just crashes. And the guy never comes out. And I said, that other guy that's missing, I think I know where he is now. And that's the thing where now you've compounded it. You've compounded it because now you're pulled into something else, and your first job is not done.
Well, that's like while you're doing the first job, uttering the words, "What else can go wrong?" Never ask that.
You never say those words.
Never ask that.
Never.
The universe will retaliate with, "Oh, hold my beer." It's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man plans, God laughs. That's what I always say. Because it does happen. And, people want the world to be a better and nicer place than it often is. And if it was, there wouldn't be any need for any of these services. And I tell people that when it's slow, don't begrudge the universe for not punishing people for chaos.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. Train. Learn.
Although the corollary to that is, everybody wants the world to be a better place, but such a small fraction of the world is willing to step up and do anything about it.
Right.
Again, partially because of what we talked about with volunteerism. They don't have the time. They don't have the ability, whatever. But I don't know. I'm kind of the old mindset, put up or shut up.
True, but I think that when we did, it was easier to do.
Absolutely,
I think it was easier to do. I mean, not to give a pass to anybody, but I think it was easier because I mean, you'd get in the fire service, they just about throw you a pair of rubber boots and a tin hat, and you get started. And
I did start with the rubber boots, not quite the tin hat though.
But. And you get started. And I don't know, and I know people get upset about this, I don't know that fireman is a better or worse fireman than a fireman today who's, a low-level version of Iron Man. And,
right.
And maybe better trained, has a better understanding of things, but there's something about coming in and learning on the job. And I don't know what the stats are on fatalities and things like that, but I think that it's not... I think to a degree we're overtraining people, and I think I never would have said that before, but I think that we're making it harder to be a volunteer.
Yeah. Just look at EMT back when you and I took it compared to what it is today. I mean, you got to refinance your house to do it anymore,
You can't be a volunteer.
Right.
You can't.
They're setting you up to fail. You have one choice, and that's the career path, or you're not going to do it.
Yeah.
With the overtraining, I think there needs to be a happy medium. I mean, I can't even begin to guesstimate the number of hours you or I have put in 30, 35 years of emergency services.